Coming up next on Forbes.com Video Network, did the Apollo 11 astronauts see a UFO on their way to the moon in 1969? Moonwalker Buzz Aldrin answers that question and more when we return.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
We are moments away from three-time bronze medalist Hans Wegebauer's historic jump over Copper Gorge.
2004.
Honey, check this dude out.
There's no room for error. And we've got liftoff. Where'd he go? He was there and then, poof.
Life comes at you fast. When it does, nobody covers your boat like Nationwide. Investments, retirement, insurance.
Nationwide is on your side.
Welcome back. I'm Forbes adventurer Jim Clash. Our special guest, Buzz Aldrin, helped achieve the greatest technological feat of the 20th century. In 1969, he and Neil Armstrong became the first men to set foot on the lunar surface. He's with us today to recall that historic voyage and also answer the stunning question, did the Apollo 11 astronauts see a UFO on their way to the moon? Buzz, thank you so much for coming in. It's always an honor to meet with you.
Well, I enjoy coming to New York. You're going to come to LA one of these days.
I will.
Yeah.
I think first we want to talk about 1969, the moon.
All right.
Everybody wants to hear about that. And recently there's been some press about you and
Yes.
the Apollo 11 crew seeing something that could have been a UFO on the way to the moon. Set it straight for me. What was that all about? Did you see something?
When we were we were launched in orbit for an orbit and a half. Then the S4B, the third stage of the rocket, did the translunar injection, and now we're coasting toward the moon.
Right.
And we had our helmets and gloves on for that maneuver, and we kept them there for Mike Collins to in the couch, commander's couch, to separate the command and service module, turn it around, and dock with the lunar module, and then extract the lunar module from the upper stage, and then the two spacecraft docked together would proceed to the moon. We would make an evasive maneuver with the upper stage, and since we didn't have any seismometers on the moon, NASA would put it into an orbit, missing the moon and going into orbit around the sun.
Right.
Now, the details of that, when you separate the command and service module, the lunar module is enclosed and wouldn't extract freely. It's enclosed in 4 big panels.
Right.
I forget the dimension, but they're pretty big.
Right.
And with spring tension, they move out. I don't think they're explosive bolts in 4 different directions.
Right.
So we watched the upper stage do the evasive maneuver and moved away from us. Then we started looking back at the Earth, holding a little eyeglass and then releasing it so that it's floating, and I could look through the eyeglass and see the Earth as it's gradually drifted away, and then I'd have to reposition it. So anyway, we're getting ready to go to bed, and I'm looking out the window, and I see a light moving at a distance, some distance, against the star background. And of course, the stars are not moving, they're inertial space.
Sure.
So we decided we would just calmly ask Houston where the upper stage was. So we asked them, where's the S4B? How far away is it? And they didn't know immediately, but they had to check with the back room, who keep track of all these trajectories. And so several minutes later, Houston came back, Apollo 11, the S4B is about 6,000 miles away.
So that couldn't be the
I
S4B.
figured that was not what I was looking at.
Right, right.
So I figured, well, it must be something else. How about those 4 panels? Well, there's no transponders to be tracking by the Deep Space Network as we're moving away from the Earth. So they're not going to be able to help us out. So it was kind of curious. And that's why when somebody asked me on Apollo 11, did you see anything unusual? I got to be honest about it and either say, well, it's a detail, but we saw nothing other than something that we were 99.99% was a man-made object that was part of the spacecraft, but we did happen to see it, and according to the technical definition of unidentified flying object, it has to fit in that category, because there was no way for us to tell it was panel 1, 2, 3, or 4 without bringing in the rest of the world and disturbing what the heck we were about, and that's going to the moon.
Do you think there was any, as some of these people allege, any conscious plot by NASA not to divulge this information?
There never has been at any time. They are always open. That's the one thing about our space program. Once we got through flying on the Atlas and the Titan that had military applications, the S4B, I mean the Saturn V was public information. It was a civil, and all the spacecraft and all the transmissions and everything we did, unless it had some reference to the capabilities of tracking networks, and I don't think those were at all classified. This was a totally open program in contrast to the Soviet program.
So I guess to sum it up, in your opinion, Buzz Aldrin, was it a UFO in the sense that many people think of UFOs? Could it have been something from another galaxy, or do you think it was probably just a man-made piece of the shield that went off?
I think it was one of the panels to very nearly absolute certainty. But there's nothing you can be absolutely certain of, and that's where the opening comes for people who, I think, are trying to promote their own attention-getting activities.
Buzz, thanks for coming on. Again, moonwalker and living legend Buzz Aldrin. I'm Jim Clash. Thanks for watching Forbes.com Video Network.